You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steelers Nation. It's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you here on a Tuesday, on a weird week where we have got plenty to get into, Matt.
More than we can fit in one show, probably.
That's exactly right. So off and running to the races here. And I just wanted to ask you, before we get into some Steelers-Bengals specifics, who's the best team in the AFC right now?
I was going to ask who's the best team in the league.
I mean,
the Lions kind of had a case, and they just lost. Bills kind of had a case recently. Eagles had a case recently. Is it Tampa?
Maybe.
Are the Chiefs the best team in the
So that
East,
was
in the AFC?
my sneaky answer was going to be the Chiefs the best team in the AFC,
which is so boring.
Which is very
just
boring.
Kind of getting out of the way for
Colts,
the Chiefs.
I mean, I guess
the Colts have a conversation.
Have a conversation, but my goodness, a rough one for Buffalo last night.
Yeah.
And
I can't put the Steelers there, though. I mean, I don't think that's where you were going, but, right.
I at least think the Steelers deserve to be mentioned in the conversation.
Yeah, they might be.
With right now, today,
6 or 7 other teams.
October 14th, But, man.
Even Denver was less than impressive overseas. I mean, they won, but.
I think to this point, the only teams that have been real impressive are almost the ones that we didn't expect it from heading into the season.
Indy for sure.
And I
think you buy in or not, I guess, is the case on them. They've had the best year.
They have, yes. And I think Tampa not quite to that extreme.
Yeah, I was just thinking AFC, but right.
They've made the playoffs 5 straight years.
Yeah.
I think they were the popular pick to win that division.
Sure.
I don't think a lot of people.
But they just overcame so many injuries and things, too.
I don't think a lot of people thought that they'd be 5-1 and it would have played out like this, where Baker Mayfield's an MVP favorite.
Right.
And
the guys are dropping left and right. It hasn't mattered.
And they look, like maybe the best team in the National Football League. We'll do some power rankings here today. And I got a feeling they're going to be towards the top, certainly.
Yeah, I think they've earned that.
Yeah, but it's just, man, I'm sitting there last night and I'm watching the Bills struggle. And as you mentioned, some of these other teams, particularly in the AFC as well, too, that we have thought, okay, this team's really good. And even
Baltimore's the best example.
Baltimore's the best example. But, like, you bring the Lions are a good example. Yeah. The Eagles are a good example. Man, nobody is perfect right now.
Far from it.
I mean, maybe the Colts are like the one team that feels like, and the Bucs too, maybe, that feel like they're hitting on all cylinders. But
they've had the best years.
Yes.
Does that mean they're the best team?
I'm not sure.
They have the best resume,
Right.
But you're like, Daniel Jones is out of the woods. He's really good. I'm like, that takes a little leap of faith, let alone, we're not talking about this, but to go to, beat the Chiefs and Bills in the playoffs. I'm like, I don't know if Daniel Jones is ready for that yet.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. But it's just, man, it feels like, and I always hesitate to do this kind of hyperbolic knee-jerk type thing, but it feels like this year is way more wide open than most in recent memory.
I tend to agree. I mean, a lot of it is just Burrow, Lamar don't look like they're going to the playoffs. When you look at the 4 stud quarterbacks, Allen, I don't think it's his fault, but you kind of mentioned that game. The Bills and Allen are making more mistakes than they had in the last 2 or 3 years. More turnovers. He's taking more sacks. I thought the weaponry around him was really, really lacking, in that game. And the defense has worried me from the beginning, So Mahomes has had – it's starting to open up for Mahomes.
Yes, it is.
How boring is that? Right.
I mean, it is.
Rashee Rice is coming back. And
It is, but it also isn't.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit of a different kind of route for them this year, where
the record's not great.
I mean, they've already lost more games this year than they did all of last year.
They're not going to be 15-2.
They're not going to be 15-2. I guess they could still obviously get that number 1 seed and
maybe
and get a bye. There's still a lot to happen. But yeah, I am just kind of blown away by it. Has felt like this entire season, every time we nail down, the Packers are really good.
Yeah.
And then they have some bad games, a couple bad performances.
Eagles are the best example.
The Eagles look really good, and then they have 2 terrible performances. The Chargers are 3-0. My goodness.
Herbert's the MVP.
And then they lose both of their tackles and both of their running backs, and they drop a couple games in a row.
Squeaked by the Dolphins.
It's just, it has been a bizarre season.
Yeah.
And with that, once again, I mean, the Steelers really with an opportunity. They kind of stuck the fork in Cleveland on Sunday.
Yes, I 100% agree.
In Baltimore, the Rams kind of stuck the fork in the Browns.
Pretty darn close, yeah.
And you and I have talked. We both, if Baltimore were to come out of their bye week and win 7 of their next 8 games, that wouldn't shock us.
I could. You could sell me on that story.
But even if that's the case,
the math might still not add up, right?
Or whatever.
I feel like they can lose 2 more games
to like make a wild card
to even be the team no one wants to play in the playoffs,
right?
Let alone win the division, right? I mean, they can 2 more losses any way you cut it. I think they're out of it.
And so
3 more losses.
3 more losses, they're out of it. Right. 2, I think they could still get a wild card. 3, they're out of it.
They would need tiebreakers and stuff.
Exactly
probably,
right.
Right.
It feels like a very bizarre year, and the backdrop of that is the Steelers are 4-1.
Yeah.
They've got 48 hours from now. They've got I think a very realistic opportunity to get to 5-1.
They're favored.
They're favored against a banged up Bengals team that is just in week 2 with Joe Flacco and really doesn't have much going their way.
No, defense is bad.
And I know that Mike Tomlin has never won one of these Thursday divisional games on the road. I think he's only won 2 of these Thursday road games in his 19 years in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
But this feels like a prime opportunity to bust that streak and to, again, I mean, sitting 5-1 with a long week to prepare for Green Bay coming here on Sunday Night Football, you would be feeling great about where you were at, particularly when surveying the landscape around you.
All right, so a couple things that I wanted to just want to rewind one thing. League-wide, I don't think we know who's really good. We know who's good. I don't know who we know who's really good.
I don't think anybody does.
Right. But we know who's really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't really concern the Steelers. They're not one of them. But it's pretty obvious. We already had a coach change. I mean,
That's a good way to put it.
There's 5-6 awful teams.
Awful.
And I don't think they're going to rebound. Like that story is written. As for like the Thursday night stuff, we haven't talked about a lot. We've only had one show this week, but on the road Thursday night, Tomlin's been poor. Caveat: most people lose on Thursday night on the road.
The win percentage for the road team on those Thursday night games is not
bad.
good.
It's bad.
It's like 1 out of 3.
Yes.
It's like 30-some%.
His isn't good enough. It's below the standard, for sure. But there's also 2 ways of looking at it. Well, 2 things I would add too. In this case, he's always been better the more prep time he gets. We just talked about after a bye. He's awesome, Well, Green Bay's a better team than the Bengals.
Yes.
I would rather have the long time to prepare for Green Bay than the long time to prepare for the Bengals, especially as currently restricted with Flacco. Not that you get a choice in the matter, but if I'm going to get extra time on one end of that battle, I definitely want it before Green Bay.
Totally with you.
Now, I didn't know this till today, but I did a live show with Rob and Missy. And Rob opened it with, all the struggles on Thursday night, on the road, everything you just said. And Missy retorted by saying, yeah, but Aaron Rodgers is 13 and Michael Birch just put this out from the Steelers. He has all the stats. I think he's 13-5 on Thursday night. 13-6. 13-6 on Thursday Night Football, which is not a small sample size, with a 42-5 touchdown interception ratio.
Is that pretty good? I think that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I mean, like his passer rating, his yards are good and all that stuff too, but 42-5 is what I remember in terms of touchdown interception ratio. So,
wow.
Yeah. I mean, so maybe that mojo, fights the bad mojo, He played
2 Thursday night games last year with the Jets. The first one, 77% completion percentage, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, no interceptions.
On a pretty bad team. These aren't powerhouse Packer teams.
119 passer rating.
Wow.
The second one, the first one was against New England, and they stunk last year. The second one was against Houston, a division champion.
Oh, okay. Playoff team.
22 of 32 for a 69 completion percentage, 211 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers for a 118 passer rating. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so we've heard this from Steeler fans and probably from all fan bases, but particularly Steeler fans.
42-5 touchdown to interception ratio. That looks fake.
That looks fake.
It's
it looks
very
like
real.
It's made up, right?
That
looks like Madden numbers or something. But a lot of people will be like, nothing ever changes around here. It's going to be the same old stuff. Blah, blah. Well, that's a pretty big change.
That's a significant change.
Right.
And that is another one of those, I think I was about to say the hidden value of Aaron Rodgers, but I don't even know if that's hidden.
Right. It's
when you
flashing in bright lights.
And Matt, I have to think that there's no coincidence you can draw a direct correlation to how great Aaron Rodgers is from the neck up.
Oh, yeah.
And how that relates to everybody being on a short week and having less time to prepare.
Great point. Because I didn't really dig into why, other than he's been awesome.
He's one of the best 5 quarterbacks to ever walk this planet.
Like, I bet Brady's is good too. Right? I mean, they probably won more than he lost.
Right.
I get it. We can't go back to like Montana. They didn't have as many Thursdays then. But I'm sure the great quarterbacks are better in Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football,
situations.
Every situation. But I think you're 100% right. Is he might need less prep time than everyone else, than the average Bear.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah,
particularly now at this stage of his career.
Because it's recent, too. It's not this is MVP years. I'm glad you mentioned those Jets teams.
Exactly.
Those Jets teams weren't good either.
No, they were not.
The Houston team was a good defense that he carved up.
He's won 4 of his last 5 on Thursday night, all in pretty decisive fashion.
Okay.
And, yeah, that gives me a lot of encouragement heading to Cincinnati on the short week.
Yeah, we were talking about off the air, and I don't think I'm like divulging any team secrets, but
tell us how the sausage is made.
Well, I mean, change the time your guys are leaving on the flight.
Ooh.
Because that'll make you block and tackle better.
We're
going an hour
baby.
later or something weird tomorrow. Yeah. Like, I'm not sure that's really going to matter, but might as well change something up. Well, I like the idea of changing up the quarterback better
I
than
think so
changing
too.
the flight time.
What makes more difference, a future Hall of Fame, first ballot, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it, or leaving an hour later on your weekday flight?
That's the shortest flight in the world.
I'm going to go behind door A.
Yeah.
That is the shortest flight in the world.
Right. This isn't Seattle.
I think Buffalo is the only place that we fly that's a shorter flight. Because Cleveland, we bus. Buffalo is like, Matt, it's like they don't even have time to tell you to put your tray table up and your seat. I mean, it's like
Philly's got to be close.
Philly's very close. I mean, it's about the same as Cincinnati, about 45, 50 minutes. Baltimore's close.
Yeah.
But Buffalo is, I remember, like the couple times, I think we've played 3 games in Buffalo since I've been on the road.
Don't even take your seatbelt off.
And it's like 27. I mean, it's like by the time they take the fasten seatbelt light off, we're coming down to
It's
descent.
like a high fly ball, and
Exactly.
Right. Center
right.
fielder catches it, and we're home.
You couldn't run to your local Giant Eagle to pick up, some the
jumbo
cheeseburger buns for dinner.
Some jumbo
faster than you can, and we get up and down when we go to Buffalo. That's a great point. That's something that I want to ask our buddy Chris Adamsky about when he joins us here in a few minutes. Matt, I also want to get to the latest injury updates here today.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything today. It's obviously a weird week, but
weird week, short week. With that weird week, a lot of guys who have not practiced because they're just getting the rested veteran status.
Yeah.
DK
and
Metcalf.
then they have like those. He would have practiced maybe if we did practice today. Like some of the weird stuff that goes on this week.
DK Metcalf has gotten DeKalen Metcalf has gotten resting vet. Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Rodgers rested Monday but was a full participant on Tuesday. Calvin Austin, still no practice for him this week, Monday or Tuesday.
Let's ask Chris about him.
Maybe Chris about him too.
Yeah.
Darius Slay got the day off Monday. He was limited today. But it just says resting vet, no injury designation.
Okay. Didn't he leave the game, though? Like, I lost track of how many defensive backs went out.
He did
for
when
a
he
play
returned.
Yeah.
Same with Joey Porter. Same with Jalen Ramsey.
It seemed like somebody left for a stretch there, like every other play, and came back.
For some reason, it was only 3 snaps that Joey Porter Jr. missed. I thought it was more than that.
It felt like more, yeah.
But I think other than Patrick Queen, I think Peasy Jr. played the second most snaps.
I think Queen never left the field.
He never left the field.
Played a lot of snaps.
80-some snaps, wasn't it? Which is impressive for him.
They snapped the ball like 35 times in the fourth quarter.
Crazy. And some of that's the garbage time stuff. But it's also just weird how their offense, for not having a ton of success, also runs a lot of plays.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Darius Slay limited today after getting the day off on Monday. Deshaun Elliott, resting veteran. Miles Killebrew has still not practiced, and Mike Tomlin has stated that that's going to be a longer-term injury, so I don't think that's surprising to anybody. TJ Watt, resting vet. Cam Hayward, resting vet. Malik Harrison has been back to practice this week. They've activated his IR window, that 21-day window for him to return to play. I'd be shocked if we saw him on Thursday, but
maybe Green Bay.
I got to think he's getting back in the fold sooner rather than later now that his 21-day window for designation to return from IR
Danny
was
Smith might be
activated on
happy
Monday.
about that if he loses Killebrew. I mean, that's not a one-for-one trade. Killebrew's your best guy, but still, that would be one more special teamer to help. Yeah.
Helps, yeah, absolutely. And then still haven't seen a official practice report from the Bengals yet today, Matt. But according to Ian Rappaport, of course, of the NFL Network, Trey Hendrickson will be listed as day-to-day on the short week after suffering a back injury in their loss to the Packers on Sunday. He had an MRI yesterday that came back clean, which does open up the door for him to play on Thursday. But I got to wonder if there's some business decisions from both parties in that one of like, we're going to try and trade you. You want to be traded. We don't need you going out there and messing something up and ruining your value for your sake and for ours.
Especially the player in this situation. Like for a short week, all of a sudden, coming off a pretty banged up situation, I'd be shocked if he plays.
Yeah, I would as well too, certainly. But that's kind of the latest on the injury front. We'll keep an eye.
Real quick, I haven't been on top of the injury front till just now, but watching the Bengals game, Mims, the first-round pick right tackle, was in and out of the game a bunch. I'm curious what his situation. He's another one I just wanted to pay attention to for them.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, before we, in the next 2 hours here, I'll continue to monitor that. Hopefully,
we probably won't learn a whole lot.
Hopefully, I can't imagine we will because again, it's a weird week. Short
Thursdays
week.
are awful.
All kind of do that weird stuff with the injury reports. But maybe we'll get something from Cincinnati here before we get up out of here.
I just want our listeners to be aware of the Mims situation.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up.
One,
that's a massive one. No doubt. It's one of their starting tackles on a team that does not have a great offensive line.
No.
We'll talk about all these things and more with our buddy Chris Adamsky when we return on the other side. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on the drive here on a Tuesday on a short week as we continue to get ready for Steelers Bengals Thursday night at Paycor Stadium. Joining us to discuss now, he covers the Steelers for the Trib. He is also the co-host of the Steelers Blitz right here on Steelers Nation Radio with the great Tom Opferman. It is, of course, our buddy and proud Mars man himself, Chris Adamsky. Buzz, thank you for taking the time as always. Before we get into some specifics, a kind of real generic 30,000-foot question for you, but who's the best team in the AFC right now?
You could ask, probably get a different answer all 5 weeks so far, all 6 weeks so far. I bet you get a different answer. It's not, we're not trying to be homers here or anything, but I mean, the Steelers have certainly entered a discussion, right? I mean, there's no reason they haven't. I mean, Buffalo, I'm not willing to write off the Bills, but these last two games, they both went on prime time. Everybody's watching. They've looked very ordinary offensively. I'm kind of, look at their wide receiver core, especially. What do they have there in terms of dynamicism, really? And so I don't know. I mean, man, you know what? Me and Tom had this discussion today, actually, on the Blitz, and I kind of talked through this like I'm doing now, and he hits me at the end. He's like, you know what, Chris? I think it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's kind of the conclusion we came to. I'm like, that's so boring, but it might be the Chiefs. Or if you're on board with the Colts, I think they've had the best year.
Yeah, they have the best. This was college, I guess, and you're judging it by resume, I suppose, if that was the criteria, or if you were to say who the best team is. And the Colts, certainly, they've been pretty much generally, although this week, notwithstanding, blowing people out when they've won too. And their only loss is to a pretty good team on the road. So they have the best resume. Their numbers look pretty good up and down in terms of you're trying to evaluate teams that way. I guess there's still, you're going to be skeptical about Daniel Jones, right? Until
proven otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the Chiefs, in terms of, they're 3-3. They've played one of the toughest schedules in the NFL so far. They had certainly injury issues or absences for other reasons in terms of why maybe they haven't been as, dynamic on offense. So when they have all their proverbial bullets in the chamber, I wonder still, and they until proven otherwise too, they're also kind of the king of the mountain in the AFC, right? I mean, how many times have they lost when it matters in the AFC. What once the past 5 years now? It's ridiculous. So until that happens, I guess, and you putting together what they just beaten maybe the NFL's best team the other day, I guess you got to say the Chiefs right now, even though they're 3-3.
Nobody wants to hear that, but especially with like Lamar getting out of the way and Burrow getting out of the way and all, but we'll see. What's your hunch on Calvin Austin's availability? I mean, I know right now it's still up in the air, but you leaning one way or another?
Yeah, well, he didn't practice today,
Mm-hmm.
so I would think that would mean, the Thursday game is a little bit of a different than a normal week where they don't practice on Friday. It's been almost unanimous over Tomlin's tenure that if somebody doesn't practice on Friday, they don't play on Sunday. Now the Thursday thing, you could talk yourself into it, I guess, but they also didn't. It's not like he just suffered this on Sunday and give a guy a day off, something like that. So I would pretty much at this point expect he's not going to play tomorrow. Thursday. Tomorrow, no. I get these short weeks all throw me off.
Me too.
2 days from now.
Do you think Miller would be the direct replacement again? Seems that way.
Yeah, it seemed certainly. In terms of snaps, he did, and I guess you go by targets. There was only one target to be had amongst the whole core there. And I think I thought by the eye test, I thought Gainwell lined up a little bit more in the slot that game, but then from what I saw, at least the PFF numbers didn't say he did. I thought maybe that was they were going to kind of replace him more, by committee. Of course, on this jumbo package now, that's one fewer wide receiver you need for a lot of plays. But in terms of who that extra eligible was, wouldn't exactly be linear. In terms of Scotty Miller replacing Calvin Austin for all the snaps he'd play, I thought you'd see more Gainwell and maybe more of the tight ends. And I guess probably by extension there probably was a little more Jonnu Smith on Sunday than there would have been otherwise, but that seems to be it. But the sample size now is up to 5 games, right? So you add up Miller and Wilson and Skoranek. I mean, how many targets do they have in totality? It's not too many. So whatever anybody's thinking about in terms of production, at least catch production, I don't know if there's going to be anybody who really steps into that role as the wide receiver too.
Well, Buzz, kind of sticking with a similar conversation, over the last 2 weeks, Darnell Washington has clearly been tight end number 1. Is that here to stay for the long term? Is that a function of just the opponents and the defenses they've played the last 2 weeks? Maybe the answer's somewhere in the middle. Do you expect to continue to see him being the lead car, the pace car for the tight ends, at least certainly in terms of snap count?
Yeah, I don't know if it was or if it has been, or was their design that, hey, from this point on, Darnell's going to play, 3/4, 80% of the snaps the rest of the season. But maybe that was the game plan for Minnesota and the way the game flow played out, and then Cleveland sort of the same way. And you see the results with, you could say, the running game. You could say Washington's production as a receiver. A lot of reasons why it's working. The team's winning, obviously, and you finally, I don't say finally, but they're finally trusting, maybe putting the pack. Obviously, I mean, you've talked about it ad nauseum for 3 years now. What kind of athlete he is, or unique individual he is, unique human being he is, or being that size and being that fast and having some of the skills he has. So he was projected as a possible first-round pick for a reason that year, and he fell a little bit, and they were talking about his medicals maybe or whatever happened there. So he has the pedigree; he could be that. And quite frankly, if he's going to, I mean, it's again, we've seen it so often. We've seen it for 3 years off and on, just some little sample sizes, I guess. That's why. But it's every time he catches a pass, it is still a marvel to see these, 6'2", 240-pound linebackers just kind of like 5, both, just stomping on them. It's something to behold, and it's easy.
Let alone defensive backs.
Yeah,
right.
Certainly them. I mean, without saying that, just the way he just kind of seems like it takes 3 guys to tackle him every time he catches the pass. So you add this up, and the way things are working, and there's obviously a lot of good vibes around the Steelers' offense and the Steelers overall right now. And it's been, I don't want to say it's a direct result of him playing, of course, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
So it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, but the scariest aspect, without question, of this Bengals team is Higgins and Chase, right? I mean, it looks like the Steelers will be healthy at corner, and they've pretty publicly said Ramsey's their number 1. How do you think they handle it, though? I mean, I still would kind of be shocked if it's just chasing Ramsey on an island all day. I mean, that sounds like that's asking a lot.
Yeah, and it really hasn't. They haven't done yet this season. It's really hard to get an idea because this past game was the first game where the entire secondary was healthy for the entire game.
Yeah.
And you could get some kind of idea how the Steelers or how Terrell Austin and everybody was going to approach how they would defend teams. Now, Cleveland doesn't have an alpha wide receiver or a very, very good wide receiver for that. Or
but we did see Justin Jefferson 2 weeks ago, and they didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would think now. I mean, they didn't have Joey Porter that game, so in theory, you put him, then you're making yourself weaker at number 2, and maybe the Vikings don't have the same caliber number 2 that the Bengals have. So, in other words, I'm surprised at how open. Yeah, yes, they have a lot. They've built the secondary with a lot of options in mind, and they've been pretty upfront here. Even this week, I've been surprised at how upfront they were. Like, yeah, we have the Bengals in mind when we acquire all these DBs we've been getting. We talk about these eligibles and the things we've been doing to get all these cornerbacks like this. That the Bengals were, target number 1 for why we're doing it. So. Now having a whole full complement of players available, but then you have the Ramsey with the hamstring, though. I mean, obviously he looked pretty healthy making plays the other day, but maybe you don't want to put extra stress on him. You know what I'm saying? Like 3 days, a game 4 days later on 3 days rest, and you have a tender hamstring. Maybe you do want to keep him back in center field a little bit more than you would otherwise. So I still wouldn't predict it, but I also wouldn't be surprised because, like I said, I'm sure that they've had. Whenever they've acquired all these DBs, they had the Bengals circled this entire time. So whatever they got cooked up, it'll be fun to see.
A couple more minutes here with Chris Adamsky on the Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Buzz, I think Matt and I kind of stumbled into a thesis maybe in the first segment of the show. We were talking about, of course, the challenges of Thursday night games, particularly in the division, particularly when you have to go on the road. Mike Tomlin just 2-8 on road Thursday night football games as the head coach of the Steelers, 0-6 when those are divisional games. Now, we kind of juxtapose that, however, with Aaron Rodgers, who is 13-6 on Thursday nights in his career. And Matt, I just kind of did the quick math on this.
Yeah.
9-1 in divisional Thursday night games.
Oh, okay.
Aaron Rodgers in his career. So 13-6 overall.
Familiar opponents.
9-1 in his division, and obviously he has not yet seen the Bengals as the the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Buzz, I gotta think. Listen, Mike Tomlin is not alone. His percentage is a little bit lower, but it is across the league a tall task for teams to win on the road on these short weeks on Thursday nights. But Matt and I kind of hypothesize that when you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, obviously one of the greatest to ever do it at his position, he's going to walk into the Hall of Fame when he hangs him up, but he's also one of the smartest quarterbacks ever above the shoulders. Just the advantage that can have for your offense on a short week, less prep time, less practice time, all those things. Could this kind of be the elixir? Aaron Rodgers under center against a Bengals team who feels like they're ripe for the picking to get Mike Tomlin that first divisional road win on a Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at what the Bengals – I mean, the Bengals are last right now in the league, and this isn't no rate to Thursday nights, of course, but they're last in the league in point differential, and that's after starting 2-0. So you imagine how bad they've been getting beat the past 4 weeks now. They're minus 80 overall and minus 85 over this 4-game losing streak. So, and I know a lot of that was Jake Browning. A lot of that was Jake Browning giving the ball to the other team for the first 3 of those games, and he's not going to be part of this game. But you still have, and I know he's 40 years old too, and he's considered a smart quarterback and been around, seen everything, and joined a bunch of different teams and all that. So better equipped than most. But it was only 8 days ago, or actually as we speak now, 7 days ago. So when did Flacco show up in Cincinnati? 6 days ago, right? So he's going to be 8 days later playing his second game in 5 days. So there obviously is a lot here going for the Steelers, and but you're right.
He hasn't even unpacked his boxes yet. Wherever he's,
yeah, you think about it. You show up somewhere unless he got there Tuesday night. He's planning for a game. 5 days later to be the starting quarterback. 4 days later, and then 4 days after that, I got another game. So I'm sure it's a frenzied time, and everything points to the Steelers, but it is crazy. I mean, just from a just from a for entertainment purposes only perspective, people love to say it's cliche, but road teams in the division, you're always weary to back. The road team in a Thursday night game, you're always weary to back. And of course, we have a lot of data with the Steelers that provides. Although almost all those losses, unless they were on Thanksgiving, are against the Browns. Now I don't know if that makes it better or worse, because like the Browns are that have been that great teams over the years or anything like that. But there was 2 on Thanksgiving with the Ravens, I think, and they played a regular Thursday night game whenever who was the kicker that kept missing field goals for the Steelers? Scobie kept missing kicks over and over, and that's why they lost that Thursday night game. That was a home game, so I guess that doesn't count. But you get the point. There's a lot here that you would think would point to the Steelers, but then again, it's like #NFL. You can never take anything for granted.
Chris, last thing I got for you is I'm curious your thoughts on Patrick Queen. There's so many right now, individual players on defense to get excited about. The first-round pick, Herbig, the corners, Elliott being back. I think Queen's right there with those guys, though. I think he's really played well of late.
It is crazy with this Steelers defense how you can go and talk, and me and Tom will talk for a whole segment about the defense. And I think it was like we got to hour 2 before you mentioned Derek Harmon. This is a first-round pick.
Yeah.
And, 3 or 4 games into his career, you just kind of like, yep, he's there, he's solid, he does, he's doing his. It's like you don't even have to talk about it because there's just so many guys around him making. I mean, how can you ignore Herbig and Watt's doing his thing, and it's just Ramsey's making splash plays, and you guys get lost because there's just so many playmakers right now, and that's absolutely right. Here's a guy who, I've talked about just in general that Queen kind of gets lost in his defense, or we kind of forget about how he was this for the Steelers a very marquee. I mean, literally the highest paid free agent they've ever signed outside the organization to bring in as a free agent, and was an all-pro when they brought him in, and he's been in the middle of the defense. And so you kind of do a great way of putting it, you kind of forget about him. But yeah, he's probably had a solid stretch here these past couple of games that he's had as a Steeler, and especially after the way those first couple of games went with the run defense overall and everything. And like I like to say, it's not just the Steelers are 4-1. I just think that they've been ascending literally almost every week, where you just feel better and better about the way they played after week 1 and week 2, certainly, and the way they're playing. Even week 3, these last 2 games, they've been at their best and almost up and down, almost all aspects of the team. Almost it seems like, and the run defense in the middle of the defense, and remember a few games ago we were really worried about at least more so maybe Peyton Wilson, but the middle of that defense, and man, that seems like a long time ago now.
Sure does. Things can change very rapidly week to week in this league. Just ask the Buffalo Bills currently how they're feeling. Yeah. Chris Adamsky, make sure you're checking him out every day on the Steelers Blitz with Tom Opferman. All his work in the Trib as well, too. Buzz, thank you for the time. Great stuff as always, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Look forward to it, guys. Talk to you then.
There he goes. The second most popular Mars grad on the Steelers audio network.
Yeah, right.
Chris Adamsky.
Not a bad place to be.
That's all right. Top 2.
Right. Top 2.
Matt, we have got plenty to get to today. I want to get into some Matt stats when we return on the other side to close down the first hour.
That document's starting to take shape.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And
tonight will put the finishing touches.
And we've only got so many segments left before kickoff, and so I want to make sure we get to some of the good information and stat pools and factoids that you have in there this week, and we will do some of that when we return on the other side. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Wrapping up the first hour here of a condensed week, a weird week, as this is
always is, but it's fun. Yeah,
it is fun. It's kind of the end of it too. I mean, Steelers will have a Monday night game, but in terms of
couple in a row
the
here
Steelers
that
do
are
have
strange.
a Monday night game, right?
I guess Sunday nighter, which doesn't matter much for us.
Yeah,
but
Miami, right? The Dolphins when Minka comes back to town.
If he's still a Dolphin, who knows what's going on with that?
Yeah, ain't that the truth? That's a good point too. Don't assume that here anymore. And there's the West Coast Sunday night game in LA that, it'll be 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. by the time we land back here and all that on Monday. But
That doesn't change much for the listeners, though.
It doesn't. That doesn't change much for the listeners. You and I will still be
doing
doing a show. I might be half asleep, but we'll still be doing a show.
Yeah.
But hopefully this is the last supremely weird week that we will have kind of in this calendar season.
Dude, you should have done this during COVID. It was.
Dude, it was.
You were just
nuts.
it was nuts, right?
Nuts. We were all doing 3-hour shows a day.
Playing on a Wednesday or something.
Playing on a Wednesday.
Right,
yeah. Even a couple years ago, a playoff game on a Monday at 4:30 against Buffalo or whatever it was.
There was that Bronco game. They didn't have a quarterback.
Speaking of which, real quick for you, I was talking about like some of the travel and the flights and Buffalo and back and how quick that is.
Yeah.
When we flew to Buffalo for that snow state of emergency game, playoff game, the Mason Rudolph one 2 years ago, that was one of the most bizarre things ever. First of all, they flew in like Top Gun from Atlanta to have him fly the Steelers plane because of the weather.
We got Mav.
So it was like Deltas. We got Mav from Delta.
Iceman's taking you.
We got Iceman, their number one guy to fly. And we never went above the clouds. We never went like I could.
Oh, really?
I could see.
It was like a line drive.
79 north the whole time that we were flying.
Weird, but it's so short.
And but we land in Buffalo, and Matt, it was a state of emergency in Buffalo.
Like no other flights are going anywhere.
No other flights anywhere, and no one on the road. Like unless you're deemed like essential personnel, like you work in the hospital or you work for public works, like you were not allowed to be out on the roads. So we fly into Buffalo on that Sunday evening before the Monday game. And it was like a scene out of an apocalyptic movie.
I bet.
No one's on the roads.
Just nothing.
No one's at the airport. Nothing going on. It's all white. Everywhere was snow. We land, and it's like police escort and like 7 plow trucks to lead us to the hotel.
Fullback after fullback just leads the way.
We had Mike Allstott and Chris Fumata Malafalu and all these guys, Riggins, and all these great fullbacks in front of us there to bring us on home. But yeah, that was certainly a bizarre one, but it will be a short flight to Cincinnati on Wednesday, of course, for this game on Thursday. And let's jump into some Matt's stats here. Matt, couple of these that I want to run past you. We've talked a little bit about point differential and with Cincinnati.
Yeah, they're last.
Steelers went into last week -2 in the point differential. They are now plus 12, and that particularly on the back of winning 3 straight games as well, too. But Cincy, -80. Worst in the league.
And they were 2-0.
And they were 2-0 at one point, but you got to score more points than your opponent to win a game. Yes. I can figure that one out. And over their last 4 games, that 4-game losing streak, they have been outscored 100. Excuse me. I almost, it's so disgusting. I almost threw up in my own mouth. 140 to 55.
Brutal.
I mean, like they're getting boat raced out here.
Crushed on both sides of the ball. Now, I will say it was a little better with Flacco. I mean, there was nowhere to go but up. Sure. And it's one game, and at least
he's going to take shots to Chase and
Higgins. That's to say, that makes those two more
dangerous.
But their running game is horrendous. Their O-line's really bad. I actually think the D-line's a little bit better than it has been, but the back seven's a mess. And we've talked a lot about, like, young linebackers, how they get manipulated. Yep. These young linebackers are just running around with their hair on fire. I mean, it's rough right now. I mean, it's real rough.
Turnover differential, another thing that we track and keep an eye on and discuss week to week. Steelers now +7 in turnover differential, 3rd best in the NFL.
Yep. And remember, like on some of these counting stats, that one's not as big a deal. They've played one less game than some teams too. So a lot of this time of year, Matt stats, a lot of things will be average per game, things like that, as opposed to they have the most rushing yards in the league. Well, you played an extra game.
There's only a couple teams that have had bye weeks so far, and the Steelers are one of them. +7 turnover differential, 3rd best in the league, only behind Chicago and Jacksonville, just like everybody thought with those two teams heading in. That's impressive for Chicago. We talked a little bit about the Bills and the surprise that was last night. My goodness, how good is Bijan Robinson?
We buried the lead, really.
Insane.
I mean, he's one of the best players in the league.
Good Lord.
Right.
Also, my 2 big takeaways from that were Bijan Robinson. Good Lord.
Yeah.
And second is, why do the Atlanta Falcons wear any other uniniforms other than those ones?
I'm not a uniform guy, but they're pretty slick.
So much better than their typical uniforms. But how about Chicago? Chicago finding a way to get it done in a weird one there against the Commanders on the road?
I think you should be pretty happy with where you're at in the Bears world. Caleb looks okay. You got a coach. You're trending the right direction.
First couple weeks were a struggle. I think that's to be expected.
Being a Bears fan the last 20 years or so, since Ditka, hasn't been easy.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
I mean, and particularly as it relates to their situation under center. But
Right.
I think you got to be feeling as good about Caleb Williams as you have at any point. So Steelers +7 in turnover differential, only behind Bears and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cincinnati -4, only ahead of the Jets, the Ravens, and the Niners.
And I don't, at least history shows Flacco all of a sudden is not going to stop the turnovers from happening. I mean, that guy turns the ball over a
Correct.
lot, you know.
Correct. Steelers, another one that we keep an eye on, Matt, is sack differential.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone talks about turnover differential, and it's obviously a key indicator of who wins games. But right behind that, sack differential and explosive play differential. Steelers now +15 in sack differential in their last 3 games, +11 on the season in total.
That's humming, man. That's really
That's
humming.
where they need to be.
Yep.
And
that's exactly what we've been hoping for. And it started slow in that regard, but it's coming back in a big way.
And you're seeing it from everybody, you know, as well, too.
Group
Keanu
efforts,
Benton getting involved, Jalen Ramsey getting involved. It's not just the typical Watt and Highsmith and Cam Hayward.
Right.
That, to me, has been very, very encouraging.
It's great that this is a knock on Cam, but it's great that you're less reliant on Cam.
Totally.
You know, that's how you drew it up.
It's
why you drafted him in the first round.
It's the same thing. You said this a couple weeks ago, I think it was, but you were like, as much as I love Chris Boswell, I don't want him to be team MVP.
No, that's like a rich man, poor man thing. You know, right? Yeah.
Like, as much as we all love Cam Hayward, I don't want him to be, pacing the way by far in snaps and everything like he was the first week or two of the season for the defensive front.
Right.
It's almost like a less is more thing with him at this stage.
Like the Bills want Josh Allen to be MVP. I don't want Boswell to be MVP.
I don't want Boswell to be MVP.
Right.
I don't want Cam Hayward out there for 90% of the snaps every single week.
Even if he's great at it.
Exactly right. And I think we have starting to see all that stuff come together, and a lot of those guys sticking their hand in the pile for the defense has been a big part of that.
Some of those depth pieces have really stepped up. I mean, at every position.
Huge. It's not just the Herbigs and the Bentons and the Harmons.
I'm talking like Ukele, Black, Holcomb, Eccles.
Big time.
Yeah.
That's a great list right there that you just put together of guys who have really contributed and started to make a difference. Matt, last one here before we go to break and come back for hour number 2. Steelers penalized 10 times last week. That's the most penalties accepted against the Steelers since week 2 of last year.
Yeah.
How much of that was a function, though, of their sloppy play versus just a Ron Tolbert crew that we know throws flags at a higher rate than anybody else in the league?
I think it's 60-40 more towards the part 2 of that.
Okay, so you don't expect that to be a negative trend that we now need to keep an eye on.
No, because you go back
to
last year, they were the best in the league at it, too.
Yeah.
We got a long sample size here over 20 games or so where they're amongst the best. I didn't put this in the packet yet because they have the benefit of playing one less game than most, but I still think they're the fewest penalties taken. So on a per game basis, they're still going to be amongst the best. Pretty good.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not worried in that department. I think one more was just or I think last week, part of me was just a one-off. That's what I'm looking for to describe it.
10 penalties, but it wasn't for an obscene amount of yardage either. It was only like 60 yards or something.
A lot of them were offsides on TJ a couple times and things like that.
Lining up the neutral zone and stuff like that.
Correct. But hopefully we'll see that number much down lower here. Much lower on Thursday night in Cincinnati. An hour in the books, another hour to go. On the other side, a little fantasy football focus, some NFL power rankings, more thoughts on Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, of course, as we roll along into hour number 2. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Well, that's good. Us too. Hour number 2 here of The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you. And much like Gene Wilder said in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, so much to do and so little time here.
Yeah, we could squish some things in here.
Hour number 2. I do want to do some fantasy football focus with you here, Matt. I think it's become typical here, Tuesday waiver wire conversation. as again, we're getting to the part of the season, bye weeks are rolling in, injuries are piling up.
Left and right, yeah.
Got to hit that waiver wire hard. A couple guys that I want to run past you that are popular waiver wire pickups, still available in a lot of leagues. And let's start with one half of the tandem that has been perhaps the topic of football the last couple weeks, Jackson Dart.
Yeah, and for fantasy, I'm all in.
He runs.
He runs a ton, and he's aggressive as can be. And frankly, if he gets hurt, I'll just pick up another quarterback. You know what I mean? Like that's not a hard position to replace. So durability for me in quarterback world isn't that big a deal. I think there's plenty of really tough games ahead where he'll be throwing late in the game. So, you know, pick up extra 80 yards in the fourth quarter garbage time. They want to play him no matter what. The offensive line's in a little bit better shape with Andrew Thomas back. So, Sure. Yeah. I mean, he should probably be in close to every league.
He has yet to throw for more than 202 passing yards in his 3 starts. But when you combine the running, I think it's worth it. If you need a quarterback, I think it's worth it.
The running's not going away.
No.
If that were fluky, I'd be like, be quiet. Be
no, that's what
cautious.
He does.
No, that's what he's got to do.
Here's another one. How about Bryce Young?
There's some good ones.
Interesting for me.
Some good days.
The last 2 weeks, he's faced the 31st and 32nd pass defense by EPA.
I was going to say the teams
league.
He's played are so bad, though.
But he has 5 passing touchdowns in his last 2 games.
They want to run the ball by nature, though. Yeah, and
they do. They also have the Jets, though, this weekend. So another favorable matchup for him.
Yeah, I mean, if your guy's on bye or you're streaming or DFS, I'd have a hard time probably putting him like in my top 12, but situationally, maybe. Ted McMillan's really involved. Coker's coming back.
Yeah. Situationally, he could maybe get you out of a jam for this weekend.
Yeah. I wouldn't hitch my wagon entirely.
No, absolutely not. But again, a lot of people, you just need a kind of 1 week fix at this point. You slap duct tape on it for a week. I think you could do worse.
If he's cheap in DFS, I'd consider it too against the Jets.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Running backs here. How about Kamani Vidal?
Yes.
Love that name, by the way. He sounds like he's like winning World Cups with Argentina and Leo Messi. Kamani Vidal. Go! He gets the start at running back for the Chargers. 18 carries, 124 yards, added a touchdown through the air. 67% snap share, 72% of the Chargers carries. Is he the guy in the backfield for LA now going forward?
Probably. I mean, like this time last week, it was Vidal or Haskins, and in all my leagues, they got picked up, and I think people were hoping 50-50. I warned people that I thought Vidal was the better talent and the more well-rounded player. Haskins is kind of a plotter between the tackles, tough guy. But he's a Michigan dude, and Harbaugh loves him, and he trusts him, so that was
big
scary, But I think now it's only one game, but you're probably starting Vidal. I mean, not just like, I mean, not just like picking him up. If you didn't, he probably got picked up last week. But I mean, if you did, I think you can trust him enough. You put him in your lineup,
He is RB1 on a team that wants to and is going to run the football.
Yeah,
I mean, How about Tajay Spears of the Titans? Tony Pollard's snap share continues to fall 4 straight weeks. Spears, 60% of the snap share. He had 4 catches. He had 5 carries. Could you see that continuing to grow?
Maybe. They're such an awful football team that they hardly ever get first downs and they're miserable. They don't ever move the ball. But there's 2 things that could work in his favor for fantasy is a coaching change. I mean, if it's a 2-week bump that all of a sudden.
Absolutely.
And Pollard could get traded. You know what I mean? That would, if you can get ahead of that, that would go a long way. I mean, we opened the show talking about there's 5 or 6 horrendous teams, and I think that's the most horrendous team. If you can trade a running back that's been around the block for picks, why wouldn't you if you're Tennessee?
Yes. That's actually a very astute point there. Final one in the
and I urge people to use that strategy too. Like if you start looking at the Saints, the Jets, look at some backups that could get a spot,
could move to a better situation.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying pick up Jack Besh, but if Jacoby Myers gets moved from the Raiders, they're going to play Jack Besh a lot. I mean, but I'm not saying he's relevant, but that's just one example,
What about Kareem Hunt? 71% of the Chiefs carries.
I know. I just don't think he's very good.
He's not Kareem Hunt when he was there his first time around.
The young pup I picked up a couple weeks ago, Smith, the draftable dude that they drafted, and thought that he might be a spark plug, but he just hasn't been relevant enough. I'm thinking about dropping him. They seem like a team that should trade for a running back.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Pacheco's particularly good. Hunt is trustworthy, but very pedestrian. But he gets the goal line carries and a good offense.
Yeah. Like maybe one of these teams
like
that is
Kamara
at the bottom of the barrel.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's running backs you could get. I think they should be in the team.
What's the not Breece Hall, but the other Jets running back? I'm drawing a blank right
Allen
now.
got hurt.
That's right. He did get hurt. Never mind.
But Hall's up after this year. There's a chance he gets moved. I mean, imagine throwing him on the Chiefs. Right? Yeah, exactly. If they're not going to give him money, you could probably pry him away.
I think they would definitely be my best team in the AFC if they were able to get Breece Hall. That would be scary. A couple wide receivers to run past you here, Matt. How are we feeling about Sterling Shepard on the Bucs with all their injuries?
I've come to the conclusion, and this is a compliment to Baker, any starting receiver on that team is fantasy worthy. I mean, guys we've hardly heard of. Tez Johnson's playing,
playing well.
I don't know what the status is on a Tuesday for Evans, Godwin, and Ibuka for this upcoming week, but I don't think any of them are good. So I just trust the team and the quarterback and the offensive system right now.
Last one for you, a guy that you and I, Dale, Moats, trying to think who all else was there with us. Jerry Dulac. We spent a lot of time talking about this guy at the Combine. Luther Burden.
Yeah.
Of the Chicago Bears. Offense is starting to come on a little bit. Caleb Williams starting to come on a little bit. Is Burden worth a waiver wire pick at this point?
He flashed a little last night. He's flashed a little in his rookie year. Something I've brought up a few times. I can't remember if you and I have talked about it or not, but it's not uncommon for a rookie coming off their bye to get a spike, and they just came off their bye last week. You spend extra time with them. Now I trust them. I'm ready to thrust them in the mix. That's just a note for fantasy that if you're a guy that you've been waiting on, Travion Henderson or whoever, like when they come off their bye. Yeah, right. Yeah. They come off their bye. They sometimes get a spike. And this is sort of Steeler related, but it would not blow me away if DJ Moore got traded. Yeah.
I think he's got to be one of the guys kind of on that list.
Yes. But that's what you need to happen for Burden to be,
I think so, too.
Usable for fantasy.
Now, DJ Moore was also hospitalized for unknown reasons.
Something just popped on my phone right now about DJ Moore.
Keep that in mind. But even if it's something injury-related or health-wise for him that keeps him out,
that'd be fine, too.
Another opportunity for
if it's
Luther
an offense
Burden
on the rise and he's your third receiver, that's not bad. There's a lot of mouths to feed there, though.
There certainly. They've got some talented eligibles.
Yeah,
in the Windy City.
Like, is Loveland going to get a bump?
Maybe.
Usually a first-round pick on the guy.
Maybe. He's been a little banged up, but I think they have a bye week coming up here.
They just did.
They
came off it.
That's right.
Yeah,
they just did. You're right. Never mind. And so, maybe it's the time to start seeing him.
He's a first-round pick on a tight end. You'd think they'd use him more.
Maybe he'll start to perk up, as Mike Tomlin would say here, before the Steelers see the Bears in about a month or so there in Chicago. That's it for your waiver wire conversation of the week here. When we come back on the other side, it's time for a little NFL power rankings. And spoiler.
Who knows what to do at the top?
Spoiler, I think I do.
Okay.
I think it's one of the teams in the NFL that is not named after an actual city.
Yeah,
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because Tampa Bay is not a city.
Right, they are Tampa.
Is. Yeah, along with Carolina. And who's the other one? There's one more. 3 teams in the league that are not named after an actual city. Arizona Cardinals. There you go.
I didn't know that, but that makes sense.
Yeah, Arizona, Carolina, and
Tampa Bay.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Good stuff. That's it for fantasy football. On to some power rankings when we return on the other side. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. weekly Tuesday power ranking check-in here.
All right.
Matt Williamson, and as always, we start at the back of the bus.
Maybe we'll go a little quicker on these. Sometimes these can eat up a lot of time. We got 2 more segments left.
We got 2 more segments here. The Jets at number 32. I don't think there's any surprise there.
Titans are worse.
I think you're right. I think the Titans I think the Jets would be favored against the Titans. I think the Jets might be favored against the Browns right now as well too. But they're the only team that hasn't won a game.
Yeah, they had negative passing yards last week. In net passing yards. They took 9 sacks. I mean, it's bad. I'm not going to stand on the table and feel like the Jets are good. I just think the Titans are miserable right now.
And they're at 31.
Yeah.
Fired, Brian Callahan, first team to fire their coach this season. Tennessee at number 31. The Browns at number 30.
Yeah, but at least they have a defense, and I was
going to say, Miami's ahead of them. I might take Cleveland to beat the Dolphins this week.
Maybe. Miami's offense isn't hideous.
Vegas, I don't know.
I think Vegas is bad.
I do too. But of all these teams, I think Vegas also has the best potential to semi-turn things around a little bit.
Maybe.
I'm not saying win 9 games and suddenly get in a wild card hunt.
But maybe get respectable.
But yeah, I like Miami. I don't think they're going to win many more games.
No, like that's
Cleveland, Tennessee, New York. But if Las Vegas somehow finished with 7 wins, it wouldn't. If they were to go 5 and 6 in the remaining games, it wouldn't shock me.
You're right. Like I think Cleveland is clearly looking at next year. Miami's looking at a coaching change sooner than later. At least the Raiders have an eye on the prize.
I also say that, and they have to go to Arrowhead this weekend, and I don't anticipate that going very well for them.
I haven't looked at the spreads yet, but
Cincinnati checking in at number 27.
Yeah, they're every bit as bad as all these teams right now.
They are. I think I would probably have them favored over all these teams.
Probably, just because their chance of having a good day is there. And that's what scares me about Thursday.
No doubt.
They could have a good day.
They got a couple guys who could have a good day.
Including Flacco.
Can make some plays, absolutely. Up to number 26 after their obvious best performances of the season. The New York Giants, the G-Men at 26, up 2 spots from last week.
Okay. I'm glad they didn't reward them too much.
I think that's fine. I think that's fair.
I didn't want to see him at like 19 or something crazy.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. There's a lot of Kool-Aid going around in Giant circles right now, and I get it. They are exciting in a different kind of way, but I don't think that means that they're particularly
Thursday night division game. Hint, hint.
On the road for Philly.
Yeah. Not the easiest environment.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think at some point that Malik Neighbors injury is really going to catch up with them.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of firepower.
Sticking at 25 this week, it's the New Orleans Saints. Once again,
I'm cool with that.
They don't look terrible against everybody. They just lose a lot of close games.
Yeah, they're not embarrassing. I mean, they've had a couple bad games, but they just don't have great talent. I mean, at least they're competitive.
Yes, they are competitive. You can't take that away from them. A team who has been competitive-ish, the Arizona Cardinals check in at 24. Good performance by Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, I like Brissett.
But they lose a close one to the Colts.
They're better than everyone we've mentioned, but the season's pretty disappointing overall. There could be coaching changes there, too.
Certainly. Especially, again, after they started 2-0.
Yeah.
They've now lost 4 straight.
It's a bad look.
And at number 23, down just 1 spot after falling to 1-5, it's the Baltimore Ravens. The good news, Matt, is it sounds like Lamar is going to be back after the bye. The bad news is they're 1-5. They've got 6 more road games. Probably need to go 9-2, at least 8-3 to make the postseason.
I wouldn't say that they're still too high. I mean, as currently constructed,
It might be.
But really, if you're looking at it, how they're currently constructed is it what they're about to be, which is a bye week away, or is it what we just saw? Well, next time we see them, they're that team at least, because Lamar.
Yes.
I mean, the last time we saw them, they should be below like the Cardinals, and
Yeah, I think that's well stated. Number 22, the Dallas Cowboys fall to 2-3-1 after getting outgunned by the Panthers.
They got pushed around on defense.
They sure did.
And that's what's worrisome is the defense just gets manhandled every week.
21 is those Carolina Panthers who beat the Cowboys, have now won 2 straight. And they've got their
good days
Jets.
are good, their bad days are terrible. But that's a young team, and they've
got the Jets. They could easily win 3 straight and be 4-3 all of a sudden.
Maybe they're trending the right way.
Maybe. I still don't know how to feel about the quarterback, but
No.
I think they do have some other things moving in the right
They're running
direction.
the ball no matter who the running back is, and Dowdell's been crazy lately.
At number 20 here, a little surprising to me, it's the Houston Texans at 20.
2 wins in a row. They're not the best wins we've ever seen. One thing I've noticed, and I'm not giving this author a hard time, but when you're on a bye, sometimes you get forgotten or dropped a little bit.
For sure. I get that part.
And I get that too.
I might have just kept them where they were and not moved them down 3 spots, but
I bet the teams ahead of them all won or something.
A big one for them heading to Seattle this weekend, which is
that might be real telling.
That's going to be one of those circle and watch this game on. That's the one part about this Thursday game, Matt. I'm excited to kick my feet up on Sunday.
That's funny. I was at the facility today.
Some football.
3 or 4 people were telling me that. Rob King was telling me that. Dale used to say that every time. He's like, I get to watch Sunday all day long just as a fan. I'm like, it's great. I do it all the time.
You know what I extra love about it? Aside from WVU, there's really only one game on Saturday college football that I really want to watch this week.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like
who is it?
It's BYU and Utah, the Holy War, a top 20 Holy War out there in Provo, which I think is probably the most underrated rivalry in college sports.
Gotcha.
Both teams are ranked. BYU.
There's a couple good SEC games too.
There's a couple good ones,
but they're not ones you have to watch. There's only so many hours.
I can only watch Georgia so many weeks in a row before
aren't they
it's
playing
like, okay, they're good.
Yeah.
Check. I mean, but yeah, a rivalry game like that, 5-1 Utah,
that is fun.
6-0 BYU. Like I said, one of the more underrated, nasty rivalries in college sports.
It's cool you brought that up. Like I didn't not know that, but I bet a lot of Pittsburghers aren't like, oh, that huge rivalry in Utah, right?
It's also like, obviously, we're a little biased. The coolest rivalry name in college sports is the Backyard Brawl. Okay, everybody knows that. But the Holy War might be number 2. That's
pretty good.
That's a pretty good one as well. But yeah, I'm excited to be planted on the couch on Sunday.
Pay attention to the Utah offensive tackles. Both could be first-round picks.
Okay, they've got a lot of those.
They
do that very well in the trenches there in Utah. 19, the Minnesota Vikings.
Another one out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean that's about right for them.
Fine.
Yeah.
Moving up a little bit after that win last night. At 18, it's the Chicago Bears up 1 spot from last week.
I guess I'd have them over the Vikes, but they're right next to each other. Sounds about right in that division.
I think so too. Up 4 spots, 3-2, feeling good. It's the Atlanta Falcons. Raheem Morris said
that's deserved.
I think so too. Raheem Morris said last night that Bijan Robinson is the best football player in the world. I don't think he's crazy.
Right, he's not. That's not insane to say.
It's a conversation.
Yep, that's not insane to say.
He was outstanding. Drake London's playing at a high level.
Yeah.
Their defense is not a pushover like they've been in the past.
They had that one horrendous game against Carolina that, when we look back, it's probably like they just had a bad day. Okay, one bad day.
Especially when you got a new staff, a ton of young
Penix
pieces.
was really bad that day. He couldn't complete a pass. I mean, just had a bad day.
Up a couple spots, feeling great about themselves. Actually, first place in the AFC East now via tiebreaker.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's the 4-2 New England Patriots.
Okay. I mean, I guess they belong in this neighborhood. I mean, I can make an argument for the Vikings, Bears, Falcons over them, but May's playing unbelievably well.
Yeah, and can I just piggybacking off of that? It drives me nuts. I really like Drake May.
Yeah.
I liked him at North Carolina. I liked him coming out of college. But, man, it's not fair that it feels like the Patriots, just a few years removed from Tom Brady, have found their guy
got their guy already, yeah.
It's like the Packers going from Favre to Rodgers. Like, that's not fair. Come on, man. That shouldn't be able to happen. But
at least the Packers plan so far ahead. You draft Rodgers when you don't need him. You draft Love when you don't need him, which is a nice lesson, for teams to do. This one, it's like, bottom out. Maybe they'll be terrible for a while.
Whiff on Mac Jones.
Right. And, a couple years later, you got the guy again.
Jerks. Number 15. Yeah, you know what, though? I will say it's about time something nice happened to Boston sports fans. They certainly haven't had any success in the 21st century. Number 15, the San Francisco 49ers. That might be a little rich for my blood.
After the Warner injury.
That
might be the straw that breaks the back.
Just keep on coming for them, man. I mean, they're down Fred Warner and Nick Bosa for the year.
Right.
Like, they still have some talent. I just mentioned Mac Jones. Credit to him. He's playing well.
He's been really good.
Kyle Shanahan has them.
You think he's a starter in the league next year? I kind of think he might be. He's under contract after this year, but I bet they get a third-round pick for him or something. And
more so
he's
now.
He's competing with like a first-round pick or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
more so now than ever before, teams take the flyers on those guys.
Give me Daniel Jones, Darnold, Baker, blah, 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 that go to a rehab
Ryan
program
Tannehill,
like this.
Geno Smith, all these reclamation projects in the last 10 years where we used to never see that kind of stuff.
And these coaches or these quarterbacks are getting so much smarter. They go to a great place to learn. I'm going to go hang out with Shanahan. That's what Darnold did before Minnesota.
Yeah.
I mean, he spent a year with the Niners, or McVay, or, somewhere like that. It's so smart.
Makes a lot of sense. At number 14, they get back in the win column. Justin Herbert once again looks fantastic.
Yeah,
it's
he
the LA
played
Chargers.
Great. I'm cool with that. Maybe they've weathered this storm a little. It's not that far out, but getting that win late in the game like they did, they would be so much lower on this list if they were 2-4.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Oh, bury them, they're done. That's how this league is, though. That's rough.
It is a one possession league, man.
Mm-hmm.
Number 13, after that they come off that emotional win against Kansas City, they fall at home to Seattle in a one-score game. The Jacksonville Jaguars at number 13.
I'm not going to hold that loss too far ahead of them against them.
I'm not either. I mean, the offense, it was all field goals, right? Those 12 points. I don't think they scored a touchdown, if I'm remembering correctly. But
could be right.
Still, it's a good Seattle team, good Seattle defense. I don't think Jacksonville's going to win the division, but I still think they're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I think they got a coach, and we'll see on Lawrence still. But
I made the joke yesterday about how we're so hyperbolic with football because we love it. It's religion, and it's not baseball. It's not basketball. It's not hockey. You get 17 meaningful games a year, maybe if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Right? Cleveland's not playing 17 meaningful games. The Jets aren't playing 17 meaningful games. I think the Jaguars, they have very rarely in their history played 16 or 17 meaningful games in a season. I think they're going to play 17 meaningful games this year.
It'll be one of the first times in their existence they're not picking in the top 10. And, that type of thing.
Right.
I think they're definitely trending that way. So I heard this just today. I knew Lawrence was under a lot of pressure. That Seattle front is awesome, as we saw in person. But it was one of the most pressured any quarterback has been since, next-gen stats.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, just every snap was, you're running for your life.
That would explain why they had to settle for 4 field goals and weren't able to find the back of the end zone. Number 12, this is a little too rich for my blood, the Washington Commanders.
Me too, but the names we just mentioned aren't blowing me away to be ahead of them either.
They're not, and listen, I get it. Washington had that game literally in their hands last night.
Yeah, they didn't play
weather,
terrible.
They fumbled it away, a sloppy exchange there with Jalen Daniels. And I'm not saying I would bury this team, but I've
never been super high on them all year, but the teams around them aren't blowing my doors off either.
They're not, but I think I'd have the Jags and the Chargers ahead of them.
Okay.
I might have the Patriots ahead of them at this, but they're at 12. I'd have them at 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Number 11, they actually fall a spot despite winning a sloppy one across the pond there at
they should.
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's the Denver Broncos at 11.
D was great. Offense is worrisome. I mean, I know weird stuff happens overseas, so I don't hold.
But that's been happening to them all year.
It's been all year. That's the thing. And what's funny is Sean Payton is not funny if you're a Denver fan, but Sean Payton is so good with quarterbacks and such a grasp of offense. He's not letting Knicks do much, which is very telling.
Well, exactly right. That would be worrisome to me if I were Denver. Big kind of measuring stick game this weekend between the Broncos and the Giants. Are the Broncos who they think we are, take care of a lesser opponent? Are the Giants really on to something and knock somebody else off?
You hope it's not like Broncos-Jets if you're a Denver fan.
Correct.
I know a win's a win, but it's are we better than these New York teams or not?
Correct. Number 10, into the top 10 for the first time this season, Matt, up 5 spots after defeating the Cleveland Browns. It's your Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm good with this.
Yeah.
Compared to the other teams around them.
I would have them ahead of all these teams we mentioned, the Washingtons and that group we just talked about, for sure. We're one of the only 4-1 teams in the league.
I completely agree.
Or one-loss teams in the league.
I think that this is about perfect for the Steelers right now.
Yeah.
Number 9, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. They move up 3 spots after that impressive win at home against the Lions. They've got the Raiders and the Commanders next, and then they go to Buffalo.
They've had a tough schedule already.
They have had a tough schedule already. Okay, hosting the Raiders, you're probably not too moved by that one.
Right.
Commanders is going to be a tough one. Buffalo, of course, always a great one when those two teams get together.
I'd have them higher. I mean, we talked about who's the best team in the AFC.
I think I might too.
I came down to Kansas City and Indianapolis.
I still don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for them in the division. I think the Chargers and the Broncos are going to
They're not going away.
hang around.
Yeah.
But I think Kansas City in the top 10 makes sense at this point.
Okay. I would have the Colts ahead of them. We were talking about AFC.
Well, there you go. That's who's at number 8.
Oh, really?
The Colts stay at number 8 after they move to 5-1, a close win over the Cardinals. And some real, in the next 3 weeks here, Indy has to go to the Chargers. They have to go to the Steelers. They've got some, all right, let's see it type games coming up here.
I mean, if they win those 2 games handily, it's like, whoa.
It's like, okay, they are really for real. But what I like about the Colts is they have won games in a lot of different ways this season.
They haven't had a bad week.
Exactly right.
I mean, their loss isn't a terrible loss.
Exactly right. You and I kind of talked about how, it felt like the last couple of years, I think we talked about this yesterday, the last couple of years it felt like the Steelers only had one recipe to victory, whereas now they have a few more.
Mm-hmm.
It feels
More
like
avenues,
like the Colts have a lot of avenues to victory here through the
agree.
first 6 weeks of the season, which I would be encouraged by if this were Colts Nation Radio.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, it's the L.A. Rams.
Less than impressive against the Ravens, though, too.
Less than impressive against the Ravens.
Yeah.
They
go overseas, I think, and then get a bye.
They do, and so they've had a weird, they're traveling to Baltimore across the country, then they go home, then they're over to London, which is a crazy long trip for them.
What if they should have stayed?
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah.
If they should have stayed in Maryland, practice at a college
some resort
there,
or whatever.
Resort there for a day or two, and then fly over to. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm surprised they didn't, or maybe they didn't. I don't know it.
That's a lot.
But Puka's probably
going to be a
week.
big loss.
But they weren't that great against the Ravens.
They're not. They're not crazy impressive right now. I do still think, in the grand scheme of things, they're a top 10 team in the NFL.
Oh yeah, and they could win the Super Bowl.
They could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I trust them. Yeah.
But right now, I might have them a spot or two lower.
It's not their finest. I'd have the Chiefs ahead of them.
Speaking of might have them a spot or two lower, not their finest last couple of weeks, down 4 spots to number 6. It's the Eagles.
A week ago, I was hesitant to crush them.
Now lost 2 games
because they won 16 out of 17. And it's
a week ago, they lost to the Broncos, very good team.
Right.
And it was the first time they had lost a game in 10 months.
And everyone's complaining, all this team's falling apart.
Yeah.
But I do think there are noticeable problems with this team right now.
Agreed.
Yeah,
and they had some of this at this point last year, but it feels like
they figured it all out. Right.
There's some more smoke to that fire this time around.
I like Hurts, and I'm hard on him because I think he has to play a certain way.
He does.
More so than the other top quarterbacks.
And as much as you say that, and here comes everyone from Philadelphia to bite your head off, it's just the truth.
Right.
And
they should all have Hurts jerseys. I understand that.
Yeah.
Right.
I understand why they love him, but it's like if you don't have all offseason, if you didn't have Hurts in your top 10 quarterback rankings, my goodness, all of Philadelphia would descend upon your mentions or your comments or whatever.
And I don't think I've ever had him in my top 10. I mean, not far off, but I don't think he's ever been in my top 10.
I think when you and I did one of those exexercises leading up in the season, I think I had him at 9 or 10, and you had him at 11.
Yeah,
so he's there, but he is he's got limitations.
I get a lot of heat. I'll put Stafford and Dak ahead of him, which looks better this year, but in the offseason, I got a lot of heat.
I don't think that's even a question.
Right now,
Herbert is obviously ahead of him. But
and now you probably got to put the Bakers of the world and
absolutely,
definitely Baker. Right.
Absolutely. If you're doing this Madden style and you're drafting a team from scratch, no doubt.
Yeah, he's not in the top 10.
No. Number 5, and this is maybe like the Rams. In the big picture, I like them, but how they're playing right now, I don't love this. It's the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, not super impressive against a not impressive team.
They haven't been impressive since
week 2.
Month.
Yeah, it's been a month
Commanders.
now, basically, with a bye and a tie. And, right.
Number 4, only down 1 spot after dropping 2 in a row. It's the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh, I'd be lower on them.
I mean,
I don't know what their receiver injuries entail, big picture, but they were really short on weapons last night. Kincaid out and guys falling. Defense isn't very good.
No, it's not.
And it's not going to get better.
They are another one of those teams that don't seem to be in a good place right now.
Mm-mm.
And it's October. I mean, they got plenty. We're still 2 weeks away from Halloween.
I'm sure they'll be in the playoffs.
Out. Yes.
And that's all that matters to this team.
But Josh Allen looks about as frustrated as we've ever seen him.
Right. He's as cool as calm as it gets, but you could just tell, come on, man, give me a little help.
A little bit. Yeah. A little bit here. Number 3, up 2 spots. highest we've seen them this season, Seattle Seahawks.
Yes.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. I'd have them ahead of the Eagles and the Bills. And
That's they go into 4-1 Jacksonville.
Yeah.
1 o'clock West Coast to the East Coast game, and they don't let that Jags team find the back of the end zone.
Like
Their
even
two
when they
losses
came
are
here
both very good losses.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no bad moments. Darnold's for real. Smith-Njigba is a star. The defense is great. And I was a little hesitant to give them credit, like when we previewed Seattle at Pittsburgh. But them going on the road's real.
Totally.
Right. It's too big a sample.
It's a organization. It goes back to Pete Carroll and
Whatever
Russell
they're
Wilson.
doing, they're
and it's
figured it
whatever
out.
they're doing, they know how to travel across the country and win games like nobody else.
I mean, McDonald only lost one road game last year, let alone the cross-country stuff anywhere.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's crazy impressive how they pull that off. Number 2. Only down one spot after falling at Arrowhead Stadium. It's the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I think we talked a little about that game, that really difficult situation to go in and beat the Chiefs in a kind of a desperate time for them. It wasn't their finest moment, but I'm not like, oh, the Lions look terrible.
No,
now.
I still think they're in the top 2. Might be a little rich for my blood, but they're still top 5. But also, it's tough
rewind an hour and a half. We don't know who's good in the league.
It's tough to
right. Who you putting ahead of
now.
them? Right.
Like all these teams in the top 10,
they all got something wrong with them. Like, I can't put the Bills or Eagles ahead of them the way they're both playing. You know,
it's a tough week to be doing power rankings.
It is at the top.
Except for I think number 1 is pretty clear at this point. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah. I think they'd be my 1.
Especially the way they're playing in the face of a lot of key injuries.
Right.
I think they have to be number 1 right now.
Right.
5-1.
Would they be favored at home against any team in the league right now? Probably. Yeah. If Kansas City or Buffalo or Philly or whoever.
I mean, those
went
would all
there.
be interesting conversations.
Right,
and they might be a 1.5 point favorite.
Right.
But yeah, I think so.
I think so. Even with the injuries, because they're proving that they're good.
I think so. At home is the kicker, but yes, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Now, if they went on the road to Detroit
they're
or somewhere
dog,
like
probably.
that, they're probably a 1.5 dog.
Right,
Again,
right.
not a massive spread, but
at Kansas City, they might be a dog. You know?
like you and I have discussed, this has to be a week-to-week thing. That's the point of power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
And right now,
this year more than ever.
Right now, this year more than ever, absolutely.
The top.
Right now, I think it's Tampa. I do.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Wouldn't shock me if it's the only time they're won.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but you're still 1.
Absolutely. This coming Monday night, Bucks at Lions, Monday Night Football, baby.
They're probably a dog in that
That's going to be. They'll probably be a 1.5 point dog. We'll obviously talk about that on Monday's show.
Friday.
Well, wait, we'll talk about it Monday because it's Monday Night Football.
Oh, it is. Oh, I didn't realize you said Monday. I thought that was a weekend game.
No, that's the Monday.
Let's talk about it Monday. Yeah.
We've had some good Monday Night Football games as of late, and
I think
Bucks.
we have 2 again this week.
Do we?
I'm not sure.
I'll take it.
I think we're getting another early one Sunday and a double.
I know
Monday
a lot of people
nighter.
don't like it because you got 2 kind of conflicting games in prime time.
It's easier for me to pay more attention to those 4 teams than it is if one of them's an extra 1 o'clock game.
Exactly right. And I've told you this before. It gets me out of bedtime with the kids a little bit earlier, which is fine.
Little bonus prize.
And like, hey, just get a second TV and watch them both at the same
I
time.
had my iPad sitting here and I had TV on. It wasn't that hard to
I
figure out.
got my big
right?
screen, and then I got a smaller TV that we sit right next to it in these types of situations.
Halftime, I flip them. Whatever.
Final segment on the other side, more Steelers-Bengals thoughts, some Steelers-Bengals predictions. We'll get into all of that when we return to close this thing down. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Here we go, down the home stretch, final segment, some final thoughts and predictions for Steelers and Bengals. Of course, 8:15 in prime time, Thursday night here. Reminder, Aaron Rodgers, 9-1 in divisional play on Thursday nights in his career, 13-6 overall, pretty good. Hopefully that will be enough to get the Steelers over the line to get Mike Tomlin's first road Thursday night divisional win of his.
It's a lot of caveats, though.
It is.
Road, Thursday.
On the road against the division foe.
In October, in a leap year, but it does matter.
In a presidential election year.
Right.
In the Winter Olympics year. Matt,
it does matter, though. I'm not blowing it off.
No, for sure. Absolutely. I'm sure that's something he's probably tired of hearing brought up,
No doubt.
Every couple of years as well, too, and wants to get that moving in a different direction. Matt, this is a weird one for...
It's terrible for like matchups and things to break down.
It wouldn't even be 5-star Friday this week. It'd be like 5-star Thursday or 5-star Wednesday, I guess.
Yeah.
But everyone knows Jamar Chase against whoever's lined up against him is a huge matchup.
Mm-hmm.
T. Higgins as well, too. Huge matchup.
Higgins worries me to no end. Just because Flacco will throw jump balls to that guy.
No
he
doubt.
has not exploded.
He did it against the Packers.
I did that video today. I'm like, that's a sleeping giant there.
Yes.
Chase was really good. They fed Chase. Chase is always open. Chase is great. Much like Jefferson in the Dublin game. But Higgins is great, and Flacco's the perfect quarterback for him. Now, he'll probably be on Porter or Ramsey a lot. He's going to be on a good corner.
Sure.
But, he's still scary.
Jamar Chase is going to get his. What you can't do is let T. Higgins run wild at the same time.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I think, the kicker. It's like you knew Justin Jefferson was going to get his. You couldn't let Jordan Addison run wild, type thing.
Good comparison, right?
And other than that one busted play at the end of the game, you did
there was one mistake.
You did a very good job in that regard. Matt, any other? I mean, they're banged up on the offensive line. We don't know about Trey Hendrickson's status, but is there any other kind of matchup that sticks out to you that people should be keeping an eye on Thursday?
Individually, not as much. Their offensive line, to me, I don't like how they play. They're not very physical. Even like huge Orlando Brown, I think he's kind of shot.
Zeus, as Mike Tomlin calls him.
Yeah, his dad was Zeus. I mean, they have the highest percentage of passing in the league. I mean, they're the pass heaviest team in the league. They don't run the ball well at all. They only average like 60 yards per game on the ground or something really terrible. And yes, because they're losing a lot, but Chase Brown used to be a foundation of the team, and he's been an afterthought, and he's starting to get phased out a little bit, not getting as many snaps. They're just they're built to be so Burrow, Higgins, Chase-centric, which I don't think is the worst build in the world when those guys fall in your lap. I'd rather be more O-line-centric.
Sure.
And just the biggest piece of that puzzle's not there. But you get Flacco on the wrong night, if he hits snake eyes on you, he could. Yeah, we saw it last year. And I do think the defense showed a little bit of signs of life this past week, especially the defensive front. But it's still not a good group. The linebackers are really bad and easily manipulated. The secondary, there's guys like Turner that I kind of like, but they're a ways away. It's not a very diverse scheme, and I'm sure Rodgers will eat that up. And I do think the short week, really what they have going for them to me, and this is taking a team lightly, I understand that, is can Flacco get hot? Can the receivers be unbelievable? That part two is a definite yes.
Yes.
And short week on the road in the division, I hate. Like when the schedule came out and you assume Burrow, I'm like, that's a loss. I hate that. I hate that.
Yep.
And that's still partly out there,
No, it absolutely is. Nothing comes easy in the National Football League, but particularly on a Thursday night on the road.
Yeah.
Did want to follow up with the Bengals' latest practice reports.
Oh, good. I'm curious about
Trey Hendrickson has not practiced yet to this point.
I give him a slim chance.
I give him certainly a slim chance, but it's looking unlikely.
If I'm him, I don't think I want to play.
No doubt.
Right.
Especially if we've come to a mutual agreement that we're going to move me on. I'm not going to be here next year anyways. I'll go to a contender. You'll get something in return for me. It works out well for both parties.
Heck, he could get traded Friday.
Yeah.
Be good.
Absolutely could.
Long week.
Shamir Stewart, the rookie edge guy, first-round pick. He has been a full participant with an ankle injury, so it looks like he's good to go. B.J. Hill has not practiced. Mike Gesicki has not practiced.
I don't think Gesicki's going to play.
Tanner Hudson, the other tight end, has not practiced. Good news for Amarius Mims. He's been a full participant all week.
Okay.
So it sounds,
he was kind of hobbled in that game.
Sounds like he will go.
I'm a Mims fan.
I am too.
Yeah,
I know you were. I know you were a big fan of his selection when he was drafted.
He's going to get TJ, obviously.
He is going to get TJ. And Charlie Jones, the wide receiver who's dealing with a rib injury, has not practiced either. So
he's our fourth guy, yeah.
There's kind of the latest update on the Bengals.
I'm going to operate like Hendrickson's not going to be in the mix.
Same. Yeah. I think, listen, hey, you know what they say happens when you assume, but I think that's...
This logically for all involved, it doesn't make much sense.
Even if from a health standpoint he thought he could go, it still doesn't make much sense. Matt, Thursday night, 8:15. Of course, the Amazon Prime game locally. I believe it's Channel 4 here in Pittsburgh that's going to carry it. The Steelers, 5.5-point favorites.
I have the Steelers winning 24-10.
Okay, so comfortable.
I think Rodgers will do a lot against that defense, and I like where the Steelers are at. I don't see a great guy to deal with Metcalf. I think the Steelers will run the ball pretty well. I think the Steeler O-line will be happy with, and the defense just is chaos. It wouldn't shock me if Chase or Higgins does some good things, and you're happy you started them in fantasy.
They'll make a play or two.
They will. They will. Especially as aggressive as the defense has been. They'll sting you maybe once or twice. Flacco's going to hit a lot, and I don't think they're going to drop near interceptions and things like that going forward very much. The defense is flying around right now.
I am going to go 20-13 Steelers.
Okay.
I think it'll be not as comfortable as Cleveland was, but that there will be not much doubt from start to finish who's going to win, but it'll be a little bit tighter than we all want. Maybe it's a late touchdown, maybe it's 20-6 and the Browns score with 90 seconds left to make it 20-13 to look a little bit better.
Yeah.
But 20-13 is what has been sticking in my craw all day. So that's what I'm going to go with. As we both think the Steelers are going to move to 5-1, and man, with a long week to get ready for a big Sunday. Man, the hype machine for that Sunday night football against the Packers.
An extra long week.
Both of those teams take care of business. Would be the Steelers would be 5-1. The Packers would be 4-2-1. I mean.
No matter what,
Rodgers and his old team, the two big, with the Cowboys, the two biggest brands and two of the three biggest brands in football. Aaron Rodgers. It would be incredible. So let's get it done and take care of business.
5-1 would be, going into a long week would be a magnificent place to be. I don't care who you played and who you beat, but you 2 straight division wins. It's just the math of it and the rest of it and all of that, But I mean, is the resting of your body, for a huge game.
No doubt. No doubt. And hopefully when we're back here on Friday, breaking it all down, that is what we will be discussing, is a victory and a very fortunate, very ideal position for the Steelers heading towards the end of October. But that will do it for today. A couple people to thank. Of course, Chris Adamsky for joining us as always. Tyler V, Mr. TV, on the video side of things, producing it, making sure we look handsome on the YouTube. And to Matt Williamson, so I've been trying out these different nicknames with you, right? Like Le Magnifique and Swiss on Swiss and all these different things.
That's too rich, dude.
I get it. And I know you and we spend a lot of time talking about Mario Lemieux. We've told this story. Used to drive our brother Dale crazy when we'd be driving out to Indianapolis every single year,
talking
5 hours
hockey,
each way in the car. And Matt and I at some point would get into a Mario Lemieux love fest. I got one for you. I've been trying to think of a nickname, just not even a nickname, but just something that I can use at the end of the show as like a little. How about the Bard of Bourbon? The Bourbon Bard, something in there. You know what a bard is? It's like a poet, like someone who's really good with words. You're really good with words. You love bourbon. I think there's something there. We'll workshop it.
I don't know.
You're not loving it? That's all right. We'll get back to something better. But for today, he's the Bard of Bourbon, Matt Williamson. I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. You have been tuned into The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.